That might have been the mute. Oops.
Well, come back to Slurpathon VIII. We have here Debyrdman, Beardman, and Junkyard David playing playing Beardblade in what seems to be a race. I am Brofar. My condolences to anybody who knows me. Let's put our hands together for this wonderful duo. Take it away.
Alrighty. So this is Beardblade. This is gonna be a race between me and Junkyard Dave. I see Dave is halfway through the game already.
Yeah, we're just trying to cheat. Sorry.
As per usual, Dave tries to get any advantage he can to get one over on me.
Yeah. Whoops. Okay, I'm back on the menu.
Alrighty. As you can see on the title screen, Dave is the hairy herald, and I am the bristly battler.
Alright, let's say...
So, Dave, anything you want to say before we start?
No, I'm ready to jump right in unless there's something you want to say.
No, I'm good. Alrighty, so let's just, whenever you're ready, you can want to count us down?
Sure. I'll say 3, 2, 1, and then on go. We split.
Alright.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. So do you want to tell them about the old tutorial days of yore?
So, when this game first initially came out, there was a tutorial skip where you could essentially, on the third screen of the tutorial, you could pause and exit the level, and it would immediately put you at the start of the next level. But the devs removed it, and now we have to play through it all.
Yes. It actually saved like almost 5 minutes. I figured it out, and then it was patched out, so... It's been an interesting experience. The devs are actually incredibly cool in this game. There's like a farming section that comes up a little bit later, and they actually made the farming section more farming speedrun friendly, but they've also patched out some pretty nifty things as well, so it's like good and also not so good when it comes to the speedrun.
They've also added a dev skip on the final level, so it kind of, they gave and they took away.
Yes, they giveth and taketh. So there's some pretty big things that they gave us. There's also some pretty big things that they took. So it's been actually a very interesting experience, like routing it. This dude is very much associated with unskippable text. Every time he's basically on screen, he is like text boss monster. You cannot get rid of him. He has a lot of things to say, and we have to hear him. So
his name is Forbo, and he gives us our beard powers.
Beard powers, literally. So a small background, this is a very cool kind of like indie platformer. As we mentioned, the developers, it's plural, but there's actually 2 developers that made this entire game. So this blows my mind like every single time, and I really look forward to like the stuff that they put out in the future. Because this was not only a 2-person developer project, this was also their first game. So I assume we're relatively like on pace with the tutorial or whatever, but the first boss coming up is pretty easy.
I got a good little pattern on that little mouse enemy where I could just hop right over him.
Good old mouse.
So we're skipping cutscenes at the start of the game. But this is the only spot that allows us to do this. Throughout the rest of the game, we have to just mash through the text.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that there were some cutscenes that you could skip and then some you couldn't. This little boss, like after he falls out of his machine thing, I would say is pretty free, but it's actually really easy to accidentally die on him.
I almost messed it up right now, I'm not gonna lie.
He runs kind of sporadically at you, and he can cause pretty decent damage. So the kind of like underlying story here is we are Branson. We have a fantastic beard, and these guys stole our sheep, and they stole our clothes. So we returned, I guess we had our clothes returned, sorry. Yeah, we need to go get our sheep back. That's kind of like...
I wish we could play the entire game in our pajamas.
I do too. The developer actually mentioned that at some point. There was like some plot thing where we were supposed to come back, I guess in the same ship or whatever, in your pajamas. But I guess it never made it into like the
I
final
think they
game.
mentioned we would see that enemy without clothes, and we'd like have another encounter with them.
It was something like that. I remember he mentioned it briefly.
But now we have a little float. You'll see us doing a little like Dixie Kong style glide. It's very useful for getting over the tight jumps. So at the start of the game here, we are collecting money as we go. There will be a like a 2-minute grind session for more money, but once we get enough money to buy the roll and an additional attack power, we don't need money anymore for the rest of the game.
Mainly because we can't earn enough money for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's just not worth it to get anything else.
Yeah, Branson, he has a hard time earning money in this game. But the way that the game is actually designed is very cool, and that's probably like the speedrun route fault. Is there's actually a day and night cycle that will come in later where you kind of like swap between the day and the night cycles. And day and night in this game is not just like a palette swap. It's like 2 completely different stages. So for example, like a day stage might be an auto-scroller, but a night stage might be like a platformer. So you can effectively like swap out having to play, you know, like long auto-scrolling levels and stuff like that. So it's actually very, very useful. But I think the intended way to like play the game casually was definitely play every day and night level. So considering the speedrun skips like 50% of the levels, Branson has a lot of money issues towards the end of the game.
Yes, but so both, like Dave mentioned, both the day and night cycles have a completely different stage. But additionally, there's collectibles, and each day and night cycle has its own unique collectibles as well. So to 100% it, you do need to play each level twice. But it's not really each level twice; it's 2 different levels.
Yeah, like very, very different levels. There's like no similar levels whatsoever in the day and night. So there's a lot of variety there. This is a really good little platforming game.
So at the end of each level, we have to defeat a little smuggling to get a sheep back. There is no way for this enemy to hurt us, so once we get here, the level's essentially over. We just need to defeat him as quickly as possible.
Yeah, correct. So in terms of RNG, there's actually very little in this game, but the RNG that is there matters. So,
matters a lot.
Yeah.
It can. There are a couple of levels in this game where if it just decides to kill you, you will die.
Yeah,
when you're going fast, at least. If in a casual setting, it's more forgivable, but in a speed run, it's just, well, the game decided to kill you.
Yes. Oh, we died. We're soccer. You have the advantage. Carry it, bird. But so in terms
I almost died myself.
In terms of the money that we were talking about earlier, you can see like the coin count and like the shoot. Okay, you can see the coin count in like the left part of the screen. And we basically need $2,500 or 2,500 coins, whatever the currency is. And originally when I was kind of like routing this and Bird was routing this, there's 2 power-ups that I really wanted. So the original route just had like an attack up, and that allowed us to like 2-cycle or 1-cycle most bosses. And then there was a roll ability, and that's $2,000, 2,000 gold, whatever it is. And I really wanted that. Like, I really, really wanted that as part of the speedrun, because it basically doubles Branson's mobility. So entering Cavern 3, that's where we do kind of like a grind thing, because once you enter a door in this game, the door is actually sealed off from the player. So like this door, for example, I just entered, you can see I cannot go back through that door. But there is one door that we could go in and out of, and then I started grinding coins there, and the developer changed the coins, so we got more coins out of that room. So the original grind session was like 3 minutes of grinding that room, and he reduced it down to like 1:30, which was super helpful because nobody really likes grind sections. And yeah, so we were able to like route and roll and effectively use it for the rest of the run after that.
Gonna sneak in here to let everyone know that we do have some incentives for donating to Extra Life. We have one coming up for Contra Hardcore. It is $82.70 away from doing the secret ending. You can go to slurpathon.com/incentives or slurpathon.com/donate for those respective functions.
Cool, thank you. So Caverns 3 is where the grind session happens. It's not completely free, and this lighthouse that we're just passing is kind of like a barbershop where you can go in and buy like various power-ups with the money that you have. But it's not completely free because you can actually fall here. You'll see in a second, we get like a beard clamp ability, and that allows us to kind of like clamp onto these platforms and swing around. And interestingly, this is something that I've always wanted to like ask the developer, is if they intended to put like more boxes for abilities and then just decided on kind of like a choose your own ability power-up kind of system. Because this is the first and only time that you get an ability like in a box, and then you don't get it for the rest of the game.
The other abilities that you purchase aren't mandatory. They're only used for secrets. They are required for some collectibles.
True, and we thought like that's where it's kind of like under-routed in a sense, because if there was more money, maybe we could, you know, route boss kills differently or something like that. But pretty much at the end of the game, you have enough money to basically buy the roll and then the power-up, so that drastically helps out mobility and power. And then we weren't able to really find more money to like route anything else in there.
And the roll does save enough time to where it's worth it to farm for it, as opposed to just powering through the game without it.
Yeah, like enough time in the sense like it's probably like 8 minutes or 9 minutes or more. Like it was a pretty substantial amount of time because it basically again doubles Branson's mobility. It's very much like a Sonic roll. So it was like high up on my priority where I was like, I gotta find a way. And originally when the route was like brand new, and I'm very glad it didn't stay that way because of this rim, we routed in a treasure chest that could respawn. But to grind off that treasure chest to get the roll, it was like 9 minutes. It was pretty brutal. So
the dev also upped the coin counter in this level, in this little spot. It used to give like 50 or 60, but now it gives 80.
No, it used to give even less, I think. It was like 35 or 30. Yeah, it was like 2 red for sure, and that's only 10. And then maybe it was 50. I can't remember if it was 2 purple. I don't think it was though. But it was pretty low regardless.
But like mentioned earlier, the dev gave it and took it away certain aspects.
Yeah. It's been very interesting and very fun interacting with them. Like they're a really great developer.
Oof. I fell. I knew I was gonna mess that up.
I'll take it. Maybe that means we're on par again.
No, I think you're already ahead of me.
Oh.
You've been ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have like the stream up or anything. I can't see. So entering the bosses in this game are kind of unique. They either have no RNG whatsoever, or they have a very small element of RNG, or they're absurdly RNG based. Like, from a development standpoint, they kind of went very random in some of how the bosses are and how they behave. But the lighthouse boss coming up after this, and I have to be very careful. I'm actually going to shut up and just make sure I buy the right power-ups, because that's always like a...
I was doing a practice run earlier, and I paused there. I'm like, wait, what am I buying?
Yeah. I always like read and highlight slowly, because it's like 12 minutes in, and then after that, like you can't recover. Like there's no way. I guess you could go back and regrind.
You can go back and farm, yeah.
It'd be pretty rough though. Because I mean... Yeah, so this is the barbershop owner. He sells us a bunch of various power-ups. And as I said, he... okay, wait, we're just gonna slowly buy the vitamin. There you go. And the wash. We're out of here. Okay. We bought the things. We're safe. So yeah, you'll see immediately why we bought the roll. We now have basically like double the mobility. And the roll itself is very nice to control because you can basically like up out of it, like cancel out of it on the same frame and cancel into it on the same frame. So it allows for a lot of nice opportunities to really control movement. So the lighthouse boss, he is not
confirmed, not a mouse, by the way.
Yes, not a mouse. I was scolded by the developer. Not a mouse.
He's a smuggler.
Smuggling, yes. He is not RNG, so he will shoot 4 barrels right off the start, or 3 barrels, sorry, in a bomb, and then he'll repeat that cycle. And then everything is predetermined. So this boss is very easy to kill. He's like 100% scripted. And not much to really talk about him in terms of anything. So I guess if there's anything you want to say, Bird, feel free to chime in.
No, just you already covered everything. That the bosses is essentially the same thing every single time. There's a part at the end where chains come out. I don't know if the chains are vertical versus horizontal, what's quicker, or if it even matters. I feel like vertical is quicker, but it could just be the same in a placebo effect.
Yeah, we never really completely tested that. Like, we should have frame by framed and counted it or something. As you can see, like, the spot that I'm choosing to stand, if you hold down here, the chains are manipulated in such a way to always go, like, across the screen. But if you're further right, there's like 5 points the chains come out in different directions, and it's all proximity based, or Branson's on the screen before they spawn. And it's possible that the chains are different. But we honestly never tested that, so. And weirdly enough, this is the only spot in the entire game that you mash.
I realize I can't hear anything you say when the chains are going.
It's okay, I wasn't saying anything important anyway. And as previously mentioned, this is pretty much the longest like text cutscene in the entire game, so if you have anything that you want to say or pop in and say, definitely feel free to.
No donations at the moment. However, I would like to remind people that we do have a lot of incentives for the rest of tonight and tomorrow. So be sure to check those out at slurpathon.com/incentives. And remember that we are raising money for Extra Life benefiting the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, the amount of text in this scene alone is almost equal to the boss fight.
And if you see me or Dave jump during it, that means it's because there's a brief couple moments where you gain control of Branson while mashing the text. You can actually pause and exit the level, but it doesn't do anything. You still have to refight the boss and go through all the text.
For some reason, after I went into the lighthouse, and I went back out of the lighthouse, so it was stupid.
You have to do it again.
The barber shop, yeah, apparently. So, in this game, damage boosts are partially a thing, but it's really weirdly routed in the sense, like, once you get to the end of a level, you're actually pretty safe. So this is, like, the only spot that I would probably take a damage boost that I'll actually play it safe, and I took a damage boost anyway, so, okay.
And this is where it kind of deviates between me and Dave. Just in our speedrun philosophy, I always go more safer. That's why I grabbed the extra heart. And Dave likes to play things dangerous and fast.
Yeah, so we'll probably die as a result of that. So there is like an entire heart system in this game where pretty much after every main boss, and I need to be careful of this bird. That bird is actually a bird that I respect very much in the speedrun because he has killed many random paces.
He respects that bird more than he respects me.
This is true. But yeah, in the speedrun itself, there is pretty much after like every major boss, like a heart that you can take, but we have chosen to skip basically almost all of them. And it's also worth noting that after the... Afterwards... Oh my goodness, I can't talk. After you get the power up, those goblins take 2 hits instead of 3 now. And
Also, at the end of the level, you saw me and Dave, we do the clamp to get above that platform, the little scarecrow thing, because the clamp actually gives you like a slight pixel of height. Sorry to interrupt you, Dave, but it was relevant.
I missed a pixel. It's okay. Ironically, I am probably in the hardest stage of the entire run, so I'm gonna be quiet anyway. This
Same.
balloon stage is so easy to die, and if you die in this balloon stage, it is pretty much like a colossal time waste. Pretty much every death here is like 40 seconds or more, so we're just gonna be super safe, make sure that we jump on all these balloons and don't die like a sucker. And we died like a sucker! Why do I talk? Oh, why do we talk? Like, why do we talk at all? That was the only goal, man, not dying in that stage. But you can see they're off cycle here too, so dying here is like especially bad.
Oh, I died too.
Okay, I'll take it. I will take
this
it.
level.
I will take it. 100% I will take it. Alright. We're free at least.
Oof, I died again. Okay, gotta calm down and just get through this level.
Yeah, originally in the original route, we actually did not do this level. And then the level ended up being faster than anything else. Like the night version rather. So it's actually a bit of a hard level, and then the level that follows it is actually pretty hard too, because there's multiple skips in this level that aren't free. So this is where we kind of like manipulate pixels and stuff like that, because it's pretty hard. There's a couple of spots coming up again that you can skip. I think there's like 3 skips in this level, 2. So this is 1, which is kind of free, but the other 2 are not, so. Plus health here is really scary, because again, if you die, it's not good.
Branson went the wrong way for some reason at the start of that level.
He has a mind of his own. Alright, so we missed the first skip. This is a very... Okay, we got it. That skip is a little bit dangerous too, because if you do miss it, you can hit like the top of those like barbs or vines or whatever. And yeah, it's very, very, very easy to die there, and then again lose a bunch of time for no reason. So entering this boss right here, it's like the forest maze boss. This boss casually is probably the easiest in the entire game. Very weirdly, in terms of design, there's almost no RNG in this boss fight at all. And the little RNG that there is, it doesn't matter. There's basically a girl and she throws a boomerang.
Yeah, that's the only RNG, and you can just react to it very easily.
Yeah, so everything else is like preset. So like for example, she'll throw 5 axes here, and then she'll throw a 6 axe, and it'll come low. All the other ones you can just wait here and it'll go over your head. So routing this boss was very, very easy. There wasn't a lot of variation. We have kind of like a shout out to Lion King on this section. Sorry, you go. That's fine.
I was just gonna mention the Lion King.
Oh, but no, go by all means. This is super important to you. You say it, man.
I was just gonna say, fans of the Lion King will recognize the next little section.
Yeah, it was very Lion King inspired there. If you've ever played like the original one on Super Nintendo, I think Genesis had it too. Both versions had it.
I was a scrub that never got past the monkey stage.
Dude, the monkey stage was legit. Like, I think going back, I remember reading like task notes or something that like some of those hippo jumps are like 1 or 2 frames. Like they were cruelly hard considering the demographic was for kids. So I don't blame you.
I'd rather rent Aladdin.
Wait, Super Nintendo or Genesis version? Because there's a very...
Super Nintendo.
Okay, that's
Super
the right
Nintendo.
answer.
I didn't have a Genesis growing up.
Okay, well that's still the right answer. Oh man, Genesis version of Aladdin was something. But yeah, so this is the end of this boss. She again just throws like 3 maces out and that's it. We count these flagpoles 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can jump off this little hippo guy. He's like half hippo, half hammerhead shark, and we are done. So, in the route, you can collect 10 hearts. I do not collect any hearts anymore. So
I only collect the very first one.
yes, and honestly, it's probably worth it in a race context because very realistically, there's like a dev skip right at the very end of the game that the developer added specifically for us speedrunners, and it's very easy to accidentally get hit twice there. So to not die and lose time on the dev skip that's supposed to save time, it's probably a smart idea to grab a heart. So
Also, when the little orb spawns, you can't jump right into it right away. You have to wait a second. I don't know why that's the case. It just is for majority of the orbs in this game.
yeah,
After a boss.
they're weirdly like that. So in this level in particular, Bird found this little skip at the very end of the level where you can use that enemy and jump over and probably skip like, I don't know, like 30% of the level. It was actually a pretty substantial, decent amount of time there. And it's actually really funny too because this whole section, there's 5 different worlds. This is the 3rd one. And you'll see this is where we start to exit, kind of like go back into the menu or whatever to change the day and night cycle. This whole world, originally when we were kind of like casually racing it, it was probably the worst world. It was full of auto-scrollers that we really didn't enjoy, at least in terms of like a racing perspective. And it was a very slow world, and then after the speedrun route kind of developed, I think it became like arguably the favorite world.
Yes, and it's all night. We play every single level at night. The only level that doesn't have an auto-scroller is the first one, but we enter at night anyways, so...
Yeah, so it's funny how like casual versus speedrun route can massively change everything like that. So these like fish things that are fish things, I don't know what you call them.
Eels? Giant eels?
Yeah, maybe they're eels. I guess they look kind of eely, hey? I have to wait on one. You win, fish.
Also, these little baby eels at the first half of the level don't actually hurt you. They're just there for show. When we first started playing this, I was avoiding them, thinking they were enemies.
Yeah. we honestly thought at the time we had like either a missing hitbox or like the smallest, most tiniest like pixel hitbox in the world. So when you're on the overworld map, I'm pretty sure it's faster to go into the barbershop and exit than go into the level and exit if you want to change the day and night cycle. So if we have the opportunity and the barbershop is near to swap the day and night cycle, that's obviously what we do there. But it should be faster than that, going into the level and exiting. This level, the pirate level, is kind of a weird one. It's kind of easy to actually mess up a couple of spots here. And if you fall, which I almost did there, you actually lose a lot of time in multiple sections actually. So, but coming up is the 4th level of this world, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of the harder levels I think in the entire game. It's extremely easy to die there for me anyway. Bird routed it really good, so he put a lot of pressure on everybody that kind of like picked up the run to replicate that. But I'll probably be a little bit more quiet doing that level because I have a huge tendency to die on that one.
Shot by a cannon.
Oh, so you're still right behind then.
Yeah, I'm still doing the shrunken ship level.
Well, I guess to explain this level, it's really hard because the platforms cycle in a very specific way. And I guess like casually, it's not as hard because you don't have the roll probably at this point. So the roll makes it a lot more difficult to, I think, like go through this level without stopping. Weirdly enough, if you're holding jump, you can make some of these platform skips. Like here, for example, if you're holding jump, you can just like survive. Oh, I should have ran there. Otherwise, like the way that you get to these platforms by rolling, there's not a whole lot of time before they like cycle down or up like that. So it's a little bit tricky to not die. And if you die, it's again a very common theme where you can probably lose at least 30 seconds or more. So you don't want to die here. And we didn't die here, so I will take that. Coming up is another boss, and it's Bird's favorite boss. I remember one time when he was streaming this, he said it's his favorite because this boss, he enters and he doesn't say anything. He just immediately wants to fight you. So there's no text associated.
He does not have a monologue.
No. He just literally straight up wants to fight. That's it.
Okay, I did Challenge Shipyard 4 perfectly. That was my goal. If anything else bad happens in the run, I'm happy that I didn't die on this level, and I did it.
There you go. So this boss has a little bit of RNG, only at the very beginning, where these things like fall is completely random. This one sucked. It was way to the far right. But the other two forms don't really have a huge amount of RNG. So you can control him right here. Like he'll always drop the fire. You can be without a range. And there is a one cycle that is completely possible from buying the power up that we did before, which raises our attack just a little bit. So you can see here, these tentacle things will swing down and destroy the ground. And if you're fast enough at mashing, you can kill them as they do that. So I think we'll get the one cycle. We killed 3 out of 4 at least. Okay, nice.
This boss always makes me nervous on the tentacle phase.
It's pretty, but like the boss itself, the one cycle isn't too bad, but dying is very painful there. It's very easy to die by accident.
Oh no, I didn't get.
And if you do die, it's again, you know, like almost a minute lost, which is why the estimate is kind of wonky. We probably will finish both under estimate, but it is incredibly easy to die and just lose, you know, like a minute at a time. I suppose if there's anything else you want to chime in and say, this cat likes to talk a lot, so.
I messed up the one cycle, but I'm just happy I didn't die. That's literally, I don't want to die on this boss. It's 3 phases long.
Yes. Yeah, Brofar, if you want to say anything else, feel free to. The cat talks a decent amount here.
Talky cat, you say?
Yes.
Oh. Well, I'd like to congratulate everybody for so far raising $4,247.27 very important cents towards our $6,000 goal at Slurpathon. We do have a couple more runs today as well as all of tomorrow to reach that goal. So go ahead and head on over to slurpathon.com/donate if you would like to donate some funds towards Extra Life supporting the Alberta Children's Hospital. And as I said that, Shawnee7188 donates $5 saying, "Go Debyrdman, donation goes to your choice."
What's the next incentive?
The next incentive is the secret ending for Contra Hardcore.
We'll put it towards that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So the gimmick of this world is this cat guy takes away all your hearts except for 2. If you have 3 all the way up to however many hearts you have, the max 5 or 6 by this time, it always puts you down to 2. It does make this world a little more difficult, especially the stop and go section, which is like a couple levels in.
Yeah, it's really hard, I think, casually, just because you get all your health taken away, minus like 1 extra heart. But Yeah, well, the speedrun, funny enough, like, one of the levels in this is probably one of the hardest in the entire game, which is the greenhouse, which is the one that I'm in right now. It's pretty easy to die on this level as well. But we did not die, that was my goal. I am infamously bad for dying in this stage. So, we will take that and we're out of here. We actually returned to the map. It's a small bug. The game already considers you, I guess, beating the level. And if you have cat jams, I think this is probably the best music in the entire game with the basement. I think this is easily by far my favorite level. And we died, so we get to listen to the music again. But it's easily my favorite level with easily, I think, my favorite song in this entire game. So
I didn't mention this, but Shallot Shipyard 4, Shallot Shipyard, both day and night, are my favorite music.
Yeah, they're pretty good too. But yeah, this level is really interesting. There isn't anything. There is actually, I guess, like a pixel jump that I just died on at the very beginning of the screen. That is a little bit tight, and there is a one cycle that arguably is like the hardest strat probably in the game. So we will try for that, because I hope that we can get it in a marathon setting. So we should be able to get this platform. Oh, we did it! We did it, Bird!
I cannot. I've practiced it, and Dave is the only person who could do this.
Whoa! I'm so happy. Yeah, that is legitimately, like, you have to have, like, almost perfect movement up until that point. So, we will take that.
That was very helpful, David.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Also, this level, I don't know if it can come across on the stream, but the movement is very tight and satisfying. I do wish they make a game with just this layout.
Yeah, for real. The mechanics in that kind of like 8-bit level are completely different from the rest of the game. Like, they have their own physics and controls. And they're very good. Like, very, very, very good. So we're entering the cemetery, which we go from probably arguably, in my opinion, the best level in the game to the worst level in the game. So, you want to explain the cemetery and why it's so nice?
So it's essentially a stop and go, but it's RNG. He can give you a red stop sign or a green arrow. If you move during the red stop sign, you take damage, and you can't damage boost through it. It's not worth it, and you only have 2 HP, so...
Yes.
And if he does it when you're jumping over a pit or a spike, you just take free damage and die.
Yes. He is a terrifyingly bad ghost. It's funny. One of the times the developer was in the Discord, we literally said the ghost was bad, and he's like, good! This is one of the sections that he was most proud of when it came to developing the game. So, we don't trust that. Oh, we actually did trust that. Okay, we'll take that.
Also, these skeleton guys could just be in the worst spots.
They can. The enemies and how they move aren't completely random. They kind of have like a radius in how they spawn and move around. But they can be like right by a pit, so they can like hit you out of your attack or whatever. So we're entering probably the first real boss with RNG. It's Brannikin. And he can, I think he has like 5 different attacks. So he can, I guess like normally attack, he can summon a beach ball, he can throw bowling pins and some other stuff. We really only want to see like sandbags like drop from the roof. He takes 7 hits to kill, but yeah, he's kind of like the first source of big RNG. You can only hit him when his mouth is open.
Like
Okay.
the way these guys spawn. I died. I knew he was gonna run into me. I hate these skeleton guys. I even went slow to avoid them.
Okay, I have something to tell you, Bird.
Yeah.
I had not only the one cycle in this marathon setting, I had the best RNG on Brannikin, and I got all green signs on the ghost. Like, it is unfair, literally unfair. When I was like trying and kind of like trying to reduce the record, like I never had RNG this good up until this point.
Well, if I remember, my PB has all greens, so I can't really complain.
I think mine has like 5 reds or something, and it's pretty bad. So we're entering...
I feel like saying this might jinx it, but the last world compared to the first half of the game is significantly easier, in my opinion. Saying that out loud, though, I will probably die.
Yeah, the final stretch. This is the last world entering now. The levels are kind of, I don't know. I think casually they're way harder the first time that you get here, but obviously like after you learn kind of like the speedrun route and stuff, especially in this maze, it's not too hard anymore. So they actually become fairly easy. Okay, I actually didn't mess up the maze, so we're good. I'm always partially kind of afraid of that.
It had been a while since I got the good pattern with the little sandbags falling that I forgot how to do it.
Yeah, you can.
Like, I forgot what was safe.
Yeah, you can hit him 5 times on that cycle, so. And you only want that RNG within the first 2 hits, like the first 2 cycles. Because no matter what he gives you, you can do like a 2-cycle kill as long as the sandbag attack falls within the first 2. So I honestly think I'm gonna die on the dev skip. Like, I practicing that earlier, I died a little bit more often than I wanted to.
I think you're like a full level ahead of me, so.
Yo, I think I just figured out a strat for later too. Something weird happened there. But I never even thought about that. So this level's kind of weird. These guys, you have to wait for them. I didn't aggro that guy properly, so I had to wait a really long time. But they like are like little forklifts or something, and they like push you up on the level. And yeah.
So I don't know if you talk much about the water level, but once you know where to go, it's very simple. But in a casual setting, it's very anxiety-inducing when you're running out of air and you're lost in this little water maze.
Oh, you jerk forklift. You actually killed me. But yeah, it's very easy to run out of oxygen, I think, in those levels for sure. Okay, we actually died on that stage, so that wasn't very cool.
Died on that stage in practice this past week, so I'm a little wary of it.
Okay, so we're entering the final 2 stages here. There's kind of like a... Well, actually, I guess the Oasis isn't... I always forget that stage exists. Like... To make sure that I don't fall off these flowers in a weird way. Okay.
Also, the night version of this level is probably the only level that I did not play en route, so it technically could be quicker, and I wouldn't know it.
There's a lot still underexplored there, honestly. It's actually a really weird route in the sense, like, it's both routed very heavily and strong at the same time. There's probably room for improvement. Like, the whole forest stage, like the whole forest world rather, it's very possible that it's like backwards and routed stronger the other way. But the balloon stage ended up being really hard to beat and ignore. So
yeah, in the forest level specifically, the third forest level is quicker, but because the balloons level is quicker than that version's night version, you have to swap twice, and it's just not worth it to swap back and forth day and night twice in that world to get the quicker stage 3. If anything I said made sense.
Mostly, like 70% did. So entering this kind of like spot, we have a picador section, and the third door is the fastest as long as you don't die on kind of like these instant kill spikes. In the past, getting hit here didn't matter. Now it matters a huge deal because there's actually a secret dev skip coming up that the developer added for us speedrunner people. This was originally the longest platform in the entire game, and the developer added this little platform to help us kind of get rid of this section a little bit quicker, but I might die here. Ooh, I am dead. See, I told you, man. I told you. There you go.
Yeah, but you spawn right there. I'm still on the previous level.
Well, it gives you time to check or catch up.
This be a bad time to tell you that Shawnee specifically asked for you not to die in the mouse room?
Well, technically we didn't die in the mouse room, so we didn't do that at least. Of course, now we take one hit going through this section, so... But yeah. The mouse room, in theory, there's a mouse room that arguably might be the fastest room if you could, like, go ahead a ridiculous amount. So the mouse, like, cycles these blocks, and they turn platforms basically on and off. And it is very possible, if you were, like, an absolute god at platforming, that you could skip ahead all of those platform cycles and maybe be faster than the mouse. So we're not 100% sure on that, but so far, barring that anyway, the third door is the fastest.
Personally, I don't understand Dave's obsession with the mouse room.
You feel like talking about Orzo?
Regarding Mousetrap Hotel? Should I shout out Mousetrap Hotel?
Sure.
Mousetrap Hotel is a speed game that everybody should play.
Alright, so what about Orzo? What makes Orzo so bad?
Oh, Horza. I think you said Horza.
Ah, no, Orzo!
That's why I talked about Mousetrap Hotel.
No, Orzo, the boss, not Horza.
And then I died with 4 hearts, because I took 4 damage here. So, the second phase of Orza is pretty bad. You're supposed to knock back these little falling debris at him, but he can hit them back at you, and it's just a real pain to get through.
Yes, as far as I know, he can hit back 100% of the ones that you hit at him. He takes 5 hits to kill. As far as I also know, if he volleys one of them back, that was actually decent. But when he volleys one of them back, like, you can't hit it back. Like, it's 100% just missed. So there's no rhyme or reason, like, when he decides to hit them back. I've had runs where sometimes he hits, like, literally 15 back in a row. He just does not want to die.
And back in the first initial patch of the game, you could actually hit him from the bottom with the clamp, but the devs patched it out.
Yeah, that was, like, probably one of the biggest things they patched out. It was a relatively big way to kill Orza consistently. So we have this unskippable text boss right before the final boss. Turns out, all along, he was not our friend.
But he gave us our powers.
To kill him because he betrayed us. But yeah, this is the final boss entering. He's got multiple attacks, and he's actually got a pretty cool... I think he takes also 7 hits with the power-up. So, yes, he's basically saying that he will kill us now. So time will be on the final hit of the boss, which was a great sentence. So he has, he's RNG. Every single cycle is complete RNG. You want to see the scissors within the first 2 attacks. He has, like, this scissor attack where he tries to, like, cut Branson's beard, I guess. And you can hit 4 times, possibly 5 times. Every other cycle you can hit 2 or 3. but the scissors are very good in that way. Alright, well I only have one hit left on him, and he gave me the scissor pattern on the third cycle, which doesn't matter anymore, you jerk. That's okay. Those are the scissors we were talking about. So that's time on my side.
GG. I am entering the text box.
Thank you, sir. So from here, we save all our angry sheep, or smug sheep, whatever they were. I guess they were pretty angry because they were shoved into bags. And the world is good again. So we had a 48.52, which I will take. This is a relatively long run, but the pace goes by very quickly.
Yeah, it's an hour long essentially, or 50 minutes long, but it doesn't feel that way. It's all the text probably that's where all the time comes from.
Yeah, it's a really fun run. I do enjoy it a lot, and I really like how it was routed. The community is very small. We had, I think, like 8 potential runners, but only 4 submitted times. So if anyone has an interest in joining it, you're obviously...
Also, 100% is free if you decide to just play it.
Yeah, if you route it, we're willing to make 100% category, but that's probably a much substantially longer run. So what pattern are you gonna get?
Yeah, messed up.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent run. Like, I died, I think, 4 times. And as overly critical gamers in chat said, that's just a minute below my PV right now. So, but the offset was the definitely good RNG I had on the boss fight. And the cemetery stage too. It was essentially perfect. So
GG?
on bird side...
I'm done?
Ah, nice. GG.
Fantastic. Can we get some GGs in chat for these two wonderful runners and this wonderful game of Beard Blade? Is this available on Steam?
It is.
Yes, it is. I believe it's only available on Steam.
Correct.
Only available on Steam. Get those Steam accounts open, get those wallets open, and join that 100% leaderboard. It's a free world record.
You do have to route money because you do need the power-ups to get everything.
I'm sure that's doable. In any case, GG you two. We will be back shortly for Rockman 1. And feel free to give any closing words you may have.
Just want to thank you all for having me for this marathon. This is actually my first marathon run ever, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I would just echo those same sentiments. Like, I'm glad that Bird raced. Very cool. I'm glad that it was kind of his first marathon run, and thank you again, Slurpathon. Always fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And with that, we will head on over to Rockman 1 shortly here.
Stained with blood but never tiring, with its billet does not cease. From the cross it would free its Savior, its Creator's Son, release. And the Savior speaks in mildness, blessed be thou of all the good. Bear as a token of this moment, marks of blood and holy rood. And that bird is called the crossbill, covered all with blood so clear. In the groves of pine it sings songs like legends, strange to hear.